Hi, I'm Shark Whitebeard, and here we are making another video. Here we are at Shark's Tavern. The name of this video is What I Miss About Ren Fairs and Pirate Fest. So because of the pandemic, all these Ren Fairs, Pirate Festivals got canceled. Me and the wife over the summer, the last so many summers, we were going to one every other week, just about traveling around and going to these Ren Fairs, and I'm really missing them. And what I miss most, or one of the things I miss most about the Ren Fairs, are basically the people in costumes, wearing really elaborate costumes, and people role-playing. They're really into their character, they're role-playing, and what I found is that there's kind of like there's a very fine line between role-playing, somebody in character, or somebody that maybe that's just the way they are, they're mad at something, or they're criticizing somebody for something. Give an example. We were at this one Ren Fair, and there was this guy, and I seen him, and he'd been playing with a band at the Ren Fair. They were playing like Celtic music and stuff. So he was wearing this green kilt, and he's wearing this red Renaissance type shirt, which are kind of fluffy shirts, you know, and stuff like that. And he's walking a few feet in front of me, you know, through the crowd and stuff. And this guy walking the other way, the opposite direction, and he's dressed like a highwayman. He has a tricorn hat. He's dressed all in black. He's carrying weapons. He had a black mask across his face. And he's walking, and then he walks past that guy, and he goes, "That skirt does not go with that blouse." And he just keeps walking. So this one guy walking in front of me walks about another 10 feet, and then he just stops, turns around, and then he looks at me and he goes, "What did that guy say to me?" And I said, "Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really hear. You know, I heard, I just didn't want to antagonize a confrontation or something." I go, "Yeah, I don't know, I didn't really hear him." I go, "You know what, I think he was just kidding or joking if he did say something." And he goes, "Yeah." He looks at me and goes, yeah, I think he was." So, I don't know if they're in character or he's actually insulting the guy. Another time, they usually, like at a lot of the Ren Fairs, they have one day is like Barbarian Day, the next day is like Pirate Day, and a lot of the pirate crews show up on Pirate Day. And there was this big, huge guy dressed like an ogre, and he's carrying this big old broadsword. And he walks past me, and under his breath, he says something like, "Yeah, stinking pirates," or something like that. I thought he said that. Pretty sure I heard him say that. So he walked about 30 feet past me, and I stopped, and I turned around, and I was going to say, "Hey, what'd you say to me?" You know, because I'm a pirate, I'm a character, you know, and I got my big old flintlock pistol. I'm not afraid of a broadsword. And I was going to say, "Hey, what'd you say to me?" I said, "Yeah, why don't you bring that broadsword over here and I'll spank you with it." I was going to tell him that. But then I thought, well, who knows? Maybe he wasn't kidding. Maybe he honestly just didn't like pirates and whatever. And I didn't want to cause a confrontation or something in front of a bunch of women and kids and stuff like that, or get in trouble. So I didn't say anything. Another time, me and my wife were dressed like pirates, and a good friend of ours, she showed up with her kids. They were like, I think one was like 6 years old, one was like 9 years old, and they're dressed like little princesses, but the three of us, the adults, are dressed like pirates. So the mom told us, she goes, "Yeah, if anybody asks, we're a pirate crew, and we captured the little princesses, and we're going to ransom back to, you know, for money. We're going to ransom them. We captured them." So the one little girl, the younger one, she's 6 years old, and I said, well, I had watched a movie where this little girl is in medieval times, and there's this really mean guy, and the mother, or I don't know who it was, but they're going to sell her into slavery, and this really mean guy goes, "Yeah, I'll buy the little girl, I'll use her as a scullery wench." And then the lady goes, "Well, she don't talk much." He goes, "Good, saves me the trouble of cutting her tongue out." And so I told the little girl at the Ren Fair, the youngest one, the 6-year-old, I said, "Yeah, you better hope they pay the ransom on you, because if not, I'm going to cut your tongue out and use you as a scullery wench." So I told her that. So later on, we're walking around, and some lady kneels down, and she goes, "Oh, how are you doing today? How's your day going? Or what are you up to?" Or something like that. And she goes, "I've been captured by pirates, and if they don't pay my ransom, they're going to cut my tongue out and use me as a scullery wench." And the lady looks at her like, "Whoa!" And then she looks at me, and like, "Did you tell her that?" And then she goes, and then she looks at her, and she almost whispers, she goes, "If I were you, I'd run away." And she walks away. So I was thinking, like, you should be saying that to a little girl or something like that. But, you know, we're in character, we're playing the roles, and she's playing along too. One of the things I like the most is, one time there's this guy, and he's walking around, very, very good-looking young man, very well built. Could tell he worked out, and he had this long brown hair, probably more gorgeous and beautiful than most of the women there. Probably looked like he could have been a male model or something, six-pack abs and everything else, very well built. And he's walking around the Ren Fair with just a kilt on. He has no shoes or socks, just bare leg, bare chested, bare everything except for a kilt. And he's walking around like that around the Ren Fair. Then somebody, one of the vendors yells out, "Good God, man, put some clothes on. There's women and children about." And the guy just looked at him and said, "Yeah, I know," and kept walking around. And I thought that was pretty funny because this guy was walking around like that. So who knows if he's in character or whatever, the guy was really offended, you know, hey, walking around like that, come on, guy. But, you know, another time, what I really love is the families, the women and kids, you know, mothers and fathers out there with their kids, you know, at the Ren Fairs really having a good time. And then, especially when they're all dressed in costumes and they're in character. One of them, there was this really cool redhead, the father was this pretty well-built guy, wearing a kilt, dressed like a barbarian. He had like a mohawk, he had this flaming red hair, had like a mohawk, and he had like a goatee. He looked like he's probably like some biker guy or whatever. He's just like a very well-built, wearing a kilt, carrying like axes and stuff like a barbarian. His wife is right there, and she's beautiful, gorgeous, flaming red hair, and she's dressed like a barbarian woman, carrying weapons and stuff too. And they got this little kid, I don't know, he must have been maybe 4 or 5 years old, and he has a little mohawk, and he has this flaming red hair, and he's dressed in a little tiny kilt, and he's walking around just happy, big old smile on his face. He's just happy to be there. And I was just like a pirate, so I got down and I challenged him to a sword fight, and he just charging at me, swinging his sword, and having a big old smile on his face, having the best time of his life. And I'm fighting with him, and his parents are sitting there kind of checking it out. And I had a really good time, and then, you know, and of course I let them win and beat me and everything like that. It was just so cool to watch a family like that, and that they took the time to all dress like barbarians and stuff, and they really looked the part. So it was really a cool situation.